Hi everybody, Don Smith here. Today I want to show you how you can plan to capture a moon in your landscape images. This is something I'm always trying to do and teach people how to do. And a lot of my workshops are actually built around full moons and or crescent moons. And they're the two types of moons I really love to shoot. Now a crescent you're going to find, usually I like shooting not the day of the new moon, but the day after, and sometimes the day after that. And actually this moon that you're looking at was 11.1% moon at the time it was captured here. I tried to actually capture this moon the day prior, but with a little bit of miscalculations, that moon was actually hiding behind the peak you see on the right-hand side. Let me go into full mode here. This is actually the high peaks at our country's 59th and newest national parks, Pinnacles National Parks. It's about a 40-minute drive from where I live, and I'll show you on a map here very shortly where it resides in relation to San Francisco and San Jose. Pinnacles National Park was a national monument, and then back on January 10 of 2013, President Obama signed it into law as being our 59th national park, and it was pretty cool. It's a difficult park to shoot, though. It is a lot of elevation gain. There are not a lot of relatively flat hikes unless you're hiking the meadow area. To me, the star of the show is really these high peaks, which are basically volcanic rock. And you can see their various shapes and sizes and heights, and this just makes for planning a moon really tricky and difficult. So this was the shot I had kind of imagined in my mind when I went out to plan this moon. And I actually started a day earlier on just May 18th, or excuse me, May 19th, which was this past Tuesday. And let me go ahead and just cycle through. Here was Tuesday, close to sunset time, and we had these high cirrus clouds in the sky. And let me jump back over in the Lightroom here. I was hoping that the moon was going to be right up over here, and these are going to be the images that you're going to see coming up in just a moment. I thought perhaps the moon was hiding up behind this cloud. It could have been right in here, and we just couldn't see it because it wasn't dark enough, but by the time it got into shootable light, it had actually just dipped in behind this set of peaks right here, which obviously blocked the moon and made it necessary to come back the next night to try to get this. Let me go back into full frame mode here. This was the result of hiking back. It's not a long hike. I'm going to show you where it's at in just a moment. It's a little over a mile to get here, but it is a steady climb uphill, lugging about a 40-pound backpack of mirrorless camera gear, believe it or not, but still weighing quite a bit because I took a lot with me. Heavy tripod and some water. Eventually got there, but it was well worth going back second night to hike. This was kind of a cool shot. The moon, we could see it was heading for this little notch, and it got down in behind this gray pine, sitting just above this spire here. And I loved how it threw that warm light out against the top limbs of the pine. That I thought was very cool. And then it did indeed get down into the notch. It would have been just phenomenal if we could have caught the whole crescent in that notch, but I just thought nonetheless, this was a pretty cool scene, and we could see this one developing, and by moving our position up and down the trail just a little bit, we could position ourselves to get this picture. So before I show you how I plot this moon, what I want to do is jump on over here to Google Earth and give you a little sense of where the Pinnacles resides. If you look way out in the distance here, that's Monterey Bay, if you're familiar with the California area. So San Francisco will be up in here. I'm going to show you that on Google Maps in just a moment. So we come down through here, which is the main entrance off of Highway 25, and this is 146. Now this is the west entrance to the park, or excuse me, the east entrance to the park. There is a west entrance over in here. You'd come off of Highway 101. That's the Salinas Valley you see running there. Soledad would be just to the left of this map, and then you see the little bit of dotted yellow lined road, and that brings you into the west side of the peaks. But we were going to shoot this because it was a moon set Obviously, we wanted to be looking west, and we wanted to shoot this from the east entrance of the park. So we had to park our car right here, and this is called the Condor Gulch Trail. And we started out and we just followed the hand along, started hiking up through the gulch here and on up. And I'm going to pull this up a bit closer now, and I've already dropped the placement pin from where I was shooting this. And let me see if I can give you a sense here of just what this looked like to us. If I pull down here, that gives you kind of an idea of what we were looking at. And obviously these were the peaks we were playing with when we were shooting this scene of the moon setting. So how do I go about shooting this moon? Well, we're going to jump back over to Firefox. You can go to any browser you want, Safari, Google Chrome, whatever. Just go ahead and Google the photographer's Ephemeris, and when it comes up, download. If you're on a PC or a Mac, I'm on a Mac, so download the desktop version. It is free, and you can see that I've got some pins, a pin placed here. I've already kind of pre-done this, but I just wanted to show you a relationship of where we're at in the Bay Area. There's San Jose and there's San Francisco, and we're down south, the Hollister area. Here's Monterey. So that was the shot that I showed you on Google Maps. You were looking out to the Monterey Bay right out in there. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up now, and you'll have to just bear with me as we kind of scroll this up. And we're going to show you how we plotted this shot. Now, a lot of times when I'm shooting a moon and the resulting picture and I post it on social media, will tend to get the reaction from people, hey, lucky shot, you know, right place, right time. But there's really no luck to it. If you're going to be successful with plotting a moon, you need to know where that moon's going to be. Let's just look down in this tab and I'll explain some things. Let's go and we're going to check for the day I shot it, which was Wednesday, May 20th. I've already preset the date, and that was yesterday from making this video. The moonrise time, as you can see, was 8:20 in the morning. This all operates on a 24-hour clock. And the moon set time is not going to be till 10:41 p.m. So I had plenty of time with the moon. However, I'm standing at an elevation where I dropped this red marker. This is going to be my shooting position, and I'm going to shoot out across this light blue line. I'll explain these colors in just a moment. So you can see I'm actually standing at an elevation of 1,834 feet. I need to figure out how high these peaks are and an elevation difference, so the program can tell me when I'll see the moon and when the moon is going to get obscured by these peaks in my foreground here. And so the moon set time is really irrelevant. It's more when that moon is going to disappear from my line of view. So before we start, I told you about these yellow lines. Let me just explain them briefly. This light blue line is moonrise time, and the dark blue is moon set. The light yellow line is sunrise time, and the dark orange line is sunset time. Now, if you come down in this tab, you will see that they have the little corresponding colors over the top of what I've just told you. So what's really important for us here is we have to use a setting called geodetics. You can Google that to your heart's content. In fact, they explain it on the photographer's Ephemeris page, what it's all about. But it's really the way we're going to determine where I'm standing to where I'm shooting and what the elevation gain and difference is, and when I'm going to lose that moon from my point of view. So I'm going to pick up this, before I do this gray pin, hold on. Well, it clicked. So if you want to set a red pin, you would go here. That's the primary pin marker, and this is the secondary pin marker. So now it dropped it for me, but I can pick this up and I can move it anywhere I want. Now, we're going to look in here. This is what's called the geodetic box, and that's what's going to give me a lot of information. As I move that marker around, notice, like right now it says 1,174 feet. Let me get it back up over these peaks. You can see the elevations jumping to 1,880 feet, okay? So what I want to do is bring this up now. And I am going to zoom in pretty tight here. I've already calculated this. So this was the rock, or the main part of the rock that was blocking my view from down below. So I'm going to drop this on here. And this is the actual path of the moon at the time we're shooting. So sunset time, if we come up here, is 8:08. 20:08 is 8:08. So I'm going to take this scrubber, and you can see when I match it to 20:08, sunset comes up. The key that we're looking at is this light blue mark, because that's the moon path line. And as long as that number remains black, we're going to be able to see the moon. You can see right now that where I have my pin marker is an altitude of 26.56. So if it drops below that, we're no longer going to see the moon from our position. So I'm just going to kind of move this over right about in there. And you could see the best time really for us to shoot was about from 8 o'clock. There's the moon there. This is that gap we saw it coming through. And as I scrub to the right, there it goes at right between 2:16. We can still see the moon, but at 2:17, you see the line go gray there. The moon is behind those rocks. We can no longer see it. And I can verify that last night we actually lost that moon at about 17 minutes past 8 o'clock. So this program is not 100% accurate in the fact that it really would have to know the elevation of these peaks. But as long as I drop it along, pretty close to where the moon path is, it's going to tell me, and I can really kind of dial that moon in to within a couple of minutes, one side or the other. Obviously, this is a lot easier to do if you're shooting towards a mountain ridge. I'm in fact in satellite view. If I go over to map view and click on terrain, you will see that it doesn't put any elevation points in here. But on a mountain range, you would actually see like a topo map. It would tell you some elevations, and you could actually plot where there were certain rises and falls in the mountains that might block your view. This was a little trickier, obviously, because we're dealing with these irregular peaks up in here. But that's how I planned that shot. There was no luck involved, but I know when I post it, somebody's going to tell me I got lucky, and now you know how to go plot a moon. And when somebody tells you you're lucky, you can just kind of grin and bear it and know that you put the work in ahead of time. And it's really fun when you can plot these things, show up, and that moon is right where it's supposed to be. And by the way, you can plot moon rises and moon sets. We did a moon set here. You can plot sunrises, sunsets. So you can see these geodetic points are really pretty important in plotting this information. You just simply can't look at horizon lines and say, okay, that moon's rising or setting at 10:41, so I've got plenty of time to get that moon. No, you need to know what's in front of you, what the elevation is, and if you're going to be able to see it, and it'll save you from going out and kind of wasting your time, and you'll come back with hopefully some beautiful images. So I hope this helped you, and until next time, take care.